What's good, everyone? It's your boy Santo G Man, back at it, like always, spreading unity, prosperity, and respect, man. Above all. So today, I just wanted to sit down, man, and touch on another chapter of my life with you guys. This is Growing Up in LA, chapter 10, and it's called Trust No One. So, much as I left off in my last chapter, I left off when I ended up getting caught with the piece of metal that I was trying to sharpen on the yard and make it into a little bone crusher, you know what I'm saying? A little ice pick. So, pretty much, so I end up going to the hole, and the whole time that I'm in the hole, I ended up only getting caught for the one that I was sharpening. The whole time that I was out on the yard, I had another piece of metal. Well, it was already like a little ice pick. It was already with a full point, and it had a handle, so it was a full blown little shank, a little fierro. So the whole time it's in my shoe. They got so happy that they found the one that I was sharpening that got stuck in the toilet that they didn't even search nothing else on me. Once they found that, they were so happy that they were just oblivious to everything. So the whole time I'm in my cell, and outside of my cell, I see my shoes. So I'm just like, fuck, I hope, you know what I'm saying? I just hope that they don't try to look at my shoes. They already searched me. They didn't look at my shoes. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know you guys are probably thinking like, what the fuck? Like, why did it even stay in my shoe? Everything happened so fast that I was only thinking about the one that I was sharpening. I didn't think about mine that I had, that I carried with me. Because anybody that knows me from the system, you know what I'm saying, they know everywhere I'm at, it's like I'm on the streets, like a Marine. I always have protection, whether it be a fucking little pocket knife or whether it be that thing, you know what I'm saying? But always gotta have something, you know what I'm saying, to protect my loved ones, protect myself and protect my loved ones. And it's not even to seem violent or because I condone violence or anything like that, but it's just a reality of knowing where the fuck you live and not being naive, you know what I'm saying? And in prison is the same thing. It's not because I was a violent person, it's not because I was just up to no good. It was just a simple fact of just knowing where I'm at, knowing that shit could pop off at any time and being ready, you know what I'm saying? So 5 days go by. I ended up going to shower, and the CO that was there at the time, he ended up, when I was showering, he was chopping it up with me. And I guess he seemed like he seen that I was a cool person, that I was a good human being, so he's like, hey, you know what, while you're here, they had all my stuff in plastic bags, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, while you're here, let's go through your stuff together. Let me transpack your stuff into a box. They got to do it in front of you so they could write everything that you have, So he takes me out, and I had a pair of shoes in my property. I always have a pair of yard shoes and then a pair of shoes just to chill in, you know what I'm saying? So at the time I had my yard shoes, and then I had my other shoes that I used to kick with, which were the good ones, were inside my stuff because those were inside the building at the time, So when he's transpacking my stuff, he's like, hey, look, you got another pair of shoes, what you want me to do? So I'm like, bing, I'm not gonna tell you to transpack those because they have a motherfucking knife in them. And sometimes when you get to other facilities, they put your stuff through metal detectors. I mean, not metal, they put your stuff through x-ray machines to see if you have any type of contraband and materials like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Throw my yard dogs away. Those are the ones I used to yard. They're fucked up. The other ones are better. I like those better. And it was true, but it was also the fact that that one had a knife in it. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember his name or nothing, but it was in the Shafter MCCF facility, I only lasted there 2 months. So now they end up sending me to the shoe in SATF. They end up sending me to the hole in SATF. And the first cell that I landed in I landed in a cell with the homie Schizo from Barstow. And as soon as I got in the cell, in the hole right there, I ended up landing in Sadev. Sadev at that time, it had three good yards. It had B yard, it had B yard, which was a level 2, it had C yard, which was a level 4, and then it had F yard, which was a level 2 as well. I was coming from a level 2, so when they ended up back, let me back. So I was coming from a level 2. So the first cell that they put me in a cell with the homie Schizo from Barstow, and he was coming from the level 4. And anyone who's not familiar, level 2 is pretty much chill. It's like Disneyland. And a level 4 is like on and cracking, like Shawshank Redemption type shit, like some real like rugged shit. You know what I'm saying? So he was coming from a 4, I was coming from a 2. You know what I'm saying? My points had dropped from being in Oklahoma for so long and being on lockdown that my points dropped, and I went down to a 2, which led me to come back and go to the Shafter MCCF from Oklahoma. So now I'm in the cell with the homie, and we're talking, and the whole time that he's talking to me, he just has his back to me. You know, the whole time he just has his back to me, and he don't, for some reason, he like, even if it was to wash his hands or something, he'll wash his hands like this from the side, looking at me. You know, anything he was doing, he would do it always like his side to me or his front to me, you know. And I explained to him, you know, what had happened, where I was coming from and everything. And then he explained to me his situation is he had got into it with somebody and he ended up stabbing that person, and that person ended up being connected. It ended up being someone that you can't necessarily just stab like that. You know, you gotta have the okay. So he was paranoid, thinking that they put me inside that cell to stab him type shit. Because since he got into it with that homie, he hadn't had a celly. I was his first celly type shit. So I had to go from dealing with this, like being in Disneyland, being in this level 2, having a phone, you know what I'm saying? It was just that level 2 Shafter MCCF, man. It was like if I was in motherfucking juvenile hall back again. You know what I mean? It's like if I wasn't even in prison type shit. So now I'm in the hole with this fucking crazy motherfucker, thinking that I'm there to stab him type shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Thankfully, I was able to just talk to him, let him know, you know what I'm saying, that, hey, you know, it's not even that type of party, it's not even that situation. And then once, because you land there and you get a celly or whatever, they give you your property within a week, you know. I was there 2 months, so the week passed and they gave me my property. So I was able to show him, like, look, this is my paperwork, this is what I'm busted for, this is where I'm coming from, whoop, whoop, whoop. So he ended up saying, like, all right, cool, you know. I doubted that the homie having as much time as he has left and coming from a level 2, I doubt that they're gonna put him in my cell to stab me, you know. They're gonna get someone that has a lot of time or that has life, you know what I'm saying, to do some type of shit like that. So he was a cool celly, you know what I mean. I gotta say, you know, salute to my boy Schizo from Barstow, my boy. If you see this, you know what I mean, much love, G. You know, so I ended up getting kicked out to SATF, to B yard. And when I get to B yard, the first person that I meet is the homie Scrappy from National City, you know what I mean, from the Acres. Salute to you, my boy. Shout out all my Acre boys out there. So the first person I end up landing with is the homie Scrappy from National City. And pretty much he had the building there when I got there. That was the pretty much reception for people that they weren't necessarily level 2s. B yard was the reception for people going across the street, people going to camp. I believe they had a dairy farm across the street in from SATF. So in the building where I was at, it was building 3. It was B3. It was the receiving unit for people going to camp. So the homie started seeing a lot of people coming and coming and coming, and I just landed there because I got kicked out of the shoe. they ended up dropping my case, so they kicked me out there. So I ended up landing with him, and once we started chopping it up and all that, he liked where my head was at and everything, so he pretty much started lacing me up, and I started working under him. So he had the building, and I was pretty much helping him out. And the reason why I call this trust no one is because, okay, so I land there, everyone's cool. There's a couple of other homies, you know what I mean? Shout out the homie Chango from Northside Longo, you know what I mean? Shout out the homie Chango. So a lot of shit starts happening, you know. Time starts going by. I'm getting situated now. I'm getting ready to start getting visits again, you know, because I was in Oklahoma for so long that my people hadn't seen me. So now I'm in Sarev, which is like 3-4 hour drive, you know, is better than a 24-hour drive. So now I'm getting situated, you know, I'm getting my little program in, and right there is the first time that I land on a yard where there's norteños. So I get kicked out to the yard. As soon as I step in the yard, right, I'm walking in the yard, and some Hispanics, homies, you know what I mean? They look like homies because some of them was tatted, and I did recognize two of them had long hair, you know what I'm saying? But a couple of them were bald, tatted, looked just like homies. So pretty much they start coming up to me like, hey, what's up, G? Like, you know, you a homie, mucho gusto. Like, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? And at this time, I'm just in my boxers, you know what I'm saying? And I have my property in my hand. So I have hood on my chest, and then I got a 1-3 on my stomach. You know what I'm saying? So I have my property in my hand, so you can't see my stomach. So in order for me to shake anybody's hand or anything, I gotta put my stuff down. So I put my stuff down, and as soon as they just seen the 1-3, they were just like, oh shoot, turn around, started walking away. And then I keep walking, and then the homies come, and I start shaking the homies' hands like, what's up, you know? They call me whoop de whoop, you know, mucho gusto. So then I start meeting homies, you know, and they ended up walking me to the building. I ended up meeting Marcelli, the homie Scrappy, and you know, everything was good. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say, the only difference of SAT-F to other prison yards that I've been at is in SAT-F it was mandatory workout. It was you had a workout mandatory when you hit yard, and that's the only prison I've been to where it's mandatory workout. Every other prison is not mandatory. Counties, yeah, but not prison, you know, that's unheard of. And the only reason why it was mandatory workout is because we were in a yard where there was norteños. So we had to make sure that every homie was fit. So now I get there, I'm with Marcelli Scrappy, and he's telling me, you know, the rules, you know what I mean, everything, and putting me up on game. So now, as I said, that building 3, was the building of receiving people that were just coming and staying a couple of weeks till they get classified, see their counselor and all that, and get shipped across the street. So now I'm having to lace up a gang of little homies that are coming in, because now they're for their first time dealing with where they're around norteños, you know what I'm saying? So not only that, but a lot of them first time being busted type shit, not really knowing what time it is, having to lace people up. A lot of trash coming in to where people coming in with bad paperwork, and I gotta get people together like, hey, my boy, you do me this favor, hey, oh boy needs to go handle that type shit, you know? And I got in a situation, not myself got in a situation, but I had to deal with a situation to where the person that brought me in, I had to make a move on them type shit. Marcelli Scrappy, which is my bunkie, you know, it was my bunkie at the time. He ended up getting into it with the homie Smokey from Southside Bakers, that had the yard at the time. So they end up getting into it over some bullshit. I think it was over some dope or some shit. He was getting at the homie pretty much. He was mad at the homie for copying some work from a norteño when he was mad at the homie for doing a transaction with a norteño, right? But what my bunkie was pointing out is that whatever the homie had at the time, he was copying from them as well, but he was just getting it like a deal type shit. So the homie that had the yard was copying it from them as well and selling it to the homies. You know what I'm saying? So what my bunkie did is he went direct to the source, and old boy took it offensive type shit. So they ended up getting into it, and my bunkie told me too when we were in the building. He's like, hey, look, I don't think it's right what old boy's doing. If he gets at me wrong, I'm gonna just flight him. And all I told my bunkie was, look, fool, if you do this, you know what I'm saying? And if you do this, just make sure you take him to the back. Make sure you get caught. Because if you don't get caught, then old boy's gonna want to do something, I mean, how does it look like you taking off on the homie that has the motherfucking yard and everyone know he has the yard? You're gonna take off on him in the middle of the yard. So sure enough, they end up getting into it. My bunkie takes off on them and they don't get caught. These fools end up getting winded out. They end up getting tired, and they were getting down for a minute, and the hood I seen them, but it was a one-on-one, so they let it be, you know what I'm saying? So they end up doing that in front of the yard, in front of everybody, you know what I'm saying? And we end up going to the building, and I talked to my bunkie, and I'm like, hey, fool, like, you already know this fool, he's hollering at me, he's calling me right now, So I end up going out, and he ends up telling me, like, hey, whoa, like, this shit ain't right, whoa, that fool needs to go. So I end up having to pick two fools out to take out my bunkie. And my bunkie knew. He took it like a G, you know what I'm saying? They met each other in the middle of the day room and just, chunked them. And salute to him for that, So then that ended up happening, So now I'm stuck to where I'm new here. Nah, at that time it had already been like a couple months, you know what I'm saying, gone by type shit. But now it's like he's gone, so now I'm in play, you know what I'm saying? Now this is my building, and I had to get someone to help me out type shit. And it was like that for a good, I want to say for like a good 5-6 months, till a little power struggle ended up happening, and I ended up getting fucking boobop myself. They ended up fucking doing a 2-on-1. I ended up fucking getting rushed by some new people that had landed in that yard, and some whole other shit had came into play or whatever. But I ended up getting two homies jumped on me in the middle of the day room and packed me out type shit. I ended up going to the hole with a black eye and all that shit, and then they ended up kicking me out to F yard. And when I got to F yard, I pretty much, explained the situation type shit, gave them phone numbers to call and shit, and they ended up squaring that situation out. But my first week in Sat F, my first week on F yard, because of the situation that I had ended up happening in B yard, my first day that I went out to yard in F yard, the homie ended up coming up to me. I'm in the bench. I go out to yard. I'm in the bench. Fresh. Brand new sweats, brand new tee. So I'm sitting down, and the homie comes up to me. He's like, hey, G, like, it was the homie suspect from TMC, from the mob crew from West Hollywood. He ends up coming up to me, and he's like, hey, G, can you do me a favor? He's like, what's up, Wes? West Side Inglewood. Westside TMC. So he was like, hey, Wes, he's like, do me a favor. He's like, this fool ended up taking off on the homie that has the building right here, and he ended up fucking getting into it with some others. He ended up trying to like steal somebody's shoes or some shit, but it was some J-Cat. So he's like, hey, do me a favor, this fool needs to go. I didn't even hesitate. I was like, all right, let's go, let's do this, you know what I'm saying? And the homie just laughed. He's like, what? He's like, that's right, Wes. Give me a handshake or whatever, and I asked him like, who's going with me, you know what I'm saying, type shit. He's like, oh, I don't know yet, we're about to find out. So I ended up walking to one of the homies that I knew, the homie Dreamer from Los Nietos. Shout out Dreamer from Los Nietos. I ended up seeing him in the yard, and I ended up trading shirts with him. I gave him my sweats, he gave me some shorts, and I gave him my watch. I like, here, make sure it stays in my property, type shit. So I ended up spinning the lap with the homie suspect, and then he ended up getting the homie Zach from Bakers, from Loma Bakers. Shout out the homie Zach too, you know? That's my crimey right there. So he ends up talking to him, keep walking, and he's like, all right, cool. It was some spur of the moment type shit. He ends up getting a little wheel out. He's wrapping it up as we're walking around type shit. Hands it to me, you know what I'm saying? Tuck it real quick. And then he points out whoever it is, you know, that we're supposed to take off. As soon as we go, the homie fucking Zach just boom, tackles him, just start boom, 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 just start bombing on this fool. And then he starts squirting out blood from one ear. I get scared, but I'm still hitting him because the way our get down is we don't stop till you get sprayed, you know, till either you get hit or you get sprayed. So I had to keep going till I got sprayed, ended up back in the hole type shit. But except this time I was the aggressor instead of the victim type shit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's the reason why I call this episode Trust No One, you know, because you never know when you're in situations like that, it be the motherfucker closest to you moving on you. When I ended up getting smashed out of B yard, it was my bunkie that they ended up getting to smash on me as well. So it be like that, you know. In prison type shit, they get the closest people to you to do shit to you, you know, so you won't expect it type shit. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys want to hear more details too, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know. I'm new. I don't want to put out too much. I don't want to say too little. So just let me know, you know what I'm saying? Is it good? You guys want to know a little bit more details? Whatnot? Let me know what you guys think about this one. Your boy Santo G, growing up in LA. This one's chapter 10, Trust No One. I appreciate each and every one you guys rocking with me. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Let's get it.